You work hard for your money, yet most of what you buy slowly drains it in ways you never measure. The real danger is not overspending. It is spending without calculation. A single purchase can quietly cost you 5 times its price when you divide it the wrong way. Today, I am going to show you a rule that changes how you look at every dollar you spend in America. And once you see it clearly, you will never shop the same way again. Most Americans think about price first. Price feels concrete. It is printed on the tag. It shows up at checkout. It hits your bank account immediately. What almost nobody calculates is value per use. Value per use is simple. Total cost divided by total times you actually use the item. That single shift transforms spending from emotional to mathematical, without making life restrictive. And here is the surprising part. Expensive items often become the cheapest once you measure them correctly. A person buys a $40 pair of shoes from a big box retailer. They wear them for 4 months before the sole breaks down. They buy another pair. Over 1 year, they spend $120 and wear each pair around 60 times. That equals 180 total wears for $120, which comes out to about 66 cents per wear. Now consider a $160 durable pair from a reputable brand that lasts 3 years with 600 total wears. That equals around 26 cents per wear. The higher upfront cost quietly delivers a lower cost per use. That is the rule in action. This rule applies across categories that Americans spend on every week: clothing, kitchen tools, electronics, gym equipment, work bags, furniture, even streaming services. The calculation does not require complex spreadsheets. It requires honesty about usage. And this is where most people lose control. They overestimate how often they will use something. They imagine future motivation. They imagine lifestyle upgrades. They imagine a version of themselves that does not exist yet. Retailers understand this behavior deeply. They design stores and online platforms to encourage aspirational buying. Fitness equipment spikes every January. Hobby equipment spikes during holiday seasons. Home organization products spike during spring cleaning. Usage rarely matches the emotional excitement at purchase. The value per use rule forces discipline by asking one uncomfortable question. How many times will I realistically use this in the next year? Many Americans buy a $200 espresso machine believing it will replace daily coffee shop visits. If that machine is used twice per day for 3 years, that equals roughly 2,190 uses. Even including maintenance, the cost per use becomes low compared to buying coffee outside daily. But if it sits unused after 3 months, the value per use explodes. The math exposes the truth. The product itself is neutral. Usage determines intelligence. This rule also protects you from the illusion of deals. A $20 kitchen gadget that is used twice costs $10 per use. A $150 high-quality chef's knife used 800 times costs less than 20 cents per use. Many American households own drawers full of low-use items purchased on sale. Sales lower price, they do not guarantee value. The value per use rule ignores the discount and focuses on frequency. There is another layer that most people miss. Durability increases total uses. Repairability extends lifespan. Brands that provide replacement parts, warranties, or long-term support indirectly lower your value per use. In the United States, some companies build products designed for longevity, while others designed for replacement cycles. When you research durability ratings, verified reviews over multiple years, and repair options, you are protecting future value per use. This rule also clarifies when renting makes more sense than buying. If you need a power washer once per year, ownership may never reach enough uses to justify the cost. Rental spreads cost across actual need. The same logic applies to specialty tools, event decor, or rarely used equipment. Ownership only wins when usage frequency crosses a certain threshold. Subscription services require the same calculation. A $15 monthly subscription used daily costs about 50 cents per day. That may be reasonable. The same subscription opened twice per month costs $7.50 per use. Over a year, that becomes a silent drain. Many Americans maintain subscriptions they barely use because cancellation feels inconvenient. Value per use brings clarity without emotion. Now here is the critical mindset shift. Value per use does not encourage cheapness. It encourages intentionality. It allows you to spend confidently on items that truly serve your life frequently. It reduces guilt on high-quality purchases when the math supports them. It removes impulse buys that look harmless individually, yet accumulate into thousands annually. Imagine applying this rule consistently for 5 years. Every clothing purchase evaluated, every appliance considered, every recurring service measured. The savings do not come from restriction. They come from alignment between spending and actual living. That alignment compounds. The real power of this rule is not in the math. It is in the discipline it builds every time you reach for your wallet. If you begin measuring value per use, your money stops reacting to advertising and starts responding to logic. Now let us go deeper into how to apply the value per use rule with precision inside an American lifestyle where marketing is constant, convenience is rewarded, and digital spending happens in seconds. First, you need a realistic usage forecast system. Before buying, pause and ask, how many times will I use this in the next 12 months? Not in your ideal future, not during a temporary motivation wave. Think about your current schedule. Look at last year's patterns. If you exercised 40 times last year, a premium home gym setup should be calculated based on that number, not 200 imagined workouts. This one adjustment prevents inflated expectations that distort value. Second, categorize purchases into 3 usage tiers: daily, weekly, and occasional. Daily use items include shoes for work, mattresses, office chairs, kitchen knives, phones, and work tools. These deserve higher budgets because their value per use drops quickly with frequency. Weekly use items require moderate analysis. Occasional use items demand strict math because frequency is low. The lower the usage, the more cautious you must be with ownership. Consider mattresses in the United States. The average American spends about 1/3 of life sleeping. A $1,800 mattress used nightly for 8 years equals roughly 2,120 nights. That is about 61 cents per night. Given its impact on physical recovery and productivity, value per use becomes extremely efficient. Compare that with a $300 decorative furniture piece rarely touched that occupies space without function. The numbers tell the story clearly. Smartphones are used hundreds of times daily. A $1,000 phone used across 3 years can exceed 3,000 hours of interaction. When divided properly, cost per hour becomes small. However, upgrading yearly without functional necessity resets the value per use clock before it matures. Extending usage duration dramatically improves value efficiency. The same applies to laptops and tablets. Replacement cycles driven by trend reduce total value extracted from each device. Clothing deserves structured evaluation. Many Americans own closets filled with rarely worn items. Special occasion outfits purchased for single events inflate cost per use sharply. Building a wardrobe around versatile pieces increases frequency and lowers average cost per wear. Neutral colors, durable fabrics, and timeless designs naturally raise usage count. Fast fashion often lowers upfront price while reducing durability, limiting total wears. Now consider kitchen appliances: air fryers, blenders, specialty coffee makers, bread machines. Before purchasing, track how often you cook similar meals now. If you cook at home 5 nights per week, high-quality tools may justify themselves quickly. If takeout dominates your schedule, even the best appliance will struggle to reach value efficiency. Usage honesty determines outcome. Furniture follows similar logic. A well-built dining table used daily for family meals delivers immense value per use over years. A trendy accent chair used for decoration contributes minimal functional return. The rule does not remove aesthetics from life. It ensures that spending reflects function frequency. Let us address something more subtle: time cost. When low-quality items break, they require replacement research, store visits, assembly time, and frustration. Time has economic weight in the United States where schedules are tight. A durable product reduces replacement cycles and protects your time. When calculating value per use, consider replacement inconvenience as part of cost. Reliable products protect both money and hours. Now here's an advanced application. Create a personal minimum value threshold. For example, you may decide that daily use items should cost less than $1 per use over their lifespan. Weekly use items less than $3 per use. Occasional items less than $10 per use unless emotionally significant. These thresholds cause objective guardrails. When a purchase exceeds your threshold, you pause or reconsider frequency. This method also clarifies experiences versus physical goods. A $300 weekend trip taken once costs $300 per experience. That may be meaningful and aligned with your priorities. Value per use does not eliminate enjoyment spending. It increases awareness. Some purchases are about memory, connection, or growth. Others are about utility. Mixing the two without clarity leads to imbalance. Many Americans underestimate storage cost. Homes fill with low-use items that require space. Larger spaces increase housing expenses. Clutter indirectly influences spending patterns. When you apply value per use consistently, unnecessary accumulation decreases. Living space becomes more intentional. There is also a psychological benefit. When you buy high-usage quality items, satisfaction increases. Replacing low-quality items repeatedly creates irritation. That irritation can trigger more impulse spending. Stable tools support stable routines. A remote worker buys a $900 ergonomic office chair rated for long-term durability. They work 240 days per year, sitting 6 hours daily. Over 5 years, that equals 7,200 hours. Cost per hour becomes around 12 cents. That investment protects posture, comfort, and productivity daily. Compare that with a $150 chair replaced every year due to discomfort or damage. Replacement cycles inflate total cost while lowering daily comfort. Many households subscribe to multiple services simultaneously. If a family actively watches one service daily while rarely opening another, cost per use diverges significantly. Rotating subscriptions quarterly based on content release schedules increases value extraction without sacrificing entertainment. Even vehicles can be evaluated this way. Cost per mile driven provides clarity. Longer ownership periods reduce annual depreciation impact. Regular maintenance extends lifespan, increasing total miles and lowering cost per mile over time. The value per use rule also reduces emotional manipulation during sales events. Black Friday promotions create urgency. Limited time offers trigger fear of missing out. When you already know your realistic usage number and threshold, urgency loses power. The math either works or it does not. Now consider children's items. Toys, sports equipment, school supplies. Kids outgrow items quickly. Durability and resale value influence total cost. Some brands maintain secondary market demand, allowing partial cost recovery. Factoring resale into value per use lowers effective cost. Here is the most important layer: alignment with identity. When purchases reflect how you actually live, waste decreases naturally. When purchases reflect how you wish to live without behavioral change, waste increases. The rule exposes the gap between fantasy and reality gently but clearly. You do not need extreme frugality. You need measurement. Over a decade, small improvements in value per use across dozens of categories compound significantly. Households that consistently extract full lifespan value from purchases maintain stronger savings buffers, even without higher income. Start small. Track 5 recent purchases. Estimate total expected uses. Divide cost by realistic frequency. Observe patterns. You will quickly see which categories deliver strength and which drain quietly. Once this habit forms, spending decisions become calmer. Confidence increases. Advertising noise weakens. Purchases feel deliberate rather than reactive. The value per use rule transforms everyday buying into a disciplined financial system that operates silently in the background of your life. When your money is measured against real usage, waste fades, durability rises, and stability grows without dramatic lifestyle changes. Every dollar you spend either serves you repeatedly or disappears quickly. The choice becomes clear when you measure it.